It's great to meet you, man. Thanks for taking a minute out for the show today.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love this stuff.
Excellent. So, before we get into your life and work, I'd like to begin our conversation with 4 years ago, the pandemic began. How did you get through that time period and how did it change you?
Okay, are we live right now?
Yeah, I come from jazz radio, so yeah, I tend to go right in.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
How did the pandemic affect my life? So I'm a consultant by profession, and I work remotely. Um, it had a couple of impacts. One was that business slowed down, and we had to find out a new way to make sure that our customers were engaged and our prospects were able to buy our services. Because in consulting, it's all about delivering a service, whether it's how to perform better, how to optimize, how to do many things, but it's not a product, right? So you've got to be able to talk to your customers. And matter of fact, this is where Zoom and Teams and all these other web services came into play. So we really had to shift from our on-site culture to our remote culture and make sure we also had the same level of engagement, which is very important. Otherwise, it really didn't affect me that much. You know,
So,
so
so, so let's get to the brass tacks of what you do for a living here in 2024. If I put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day and one of the kids said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I help people run their companies better. So as a third grader, you're going to go out to the playground and you're going to see a bunch of playground equipment, and you may not understand how to use the monkey bars. I'll teach you that. And then I will help you run the egg race faster and the sack race faster. So that's what I would tell them. And that's what I do for a living. I help companies with their processes and policies be more efficient.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
I think I wanted to be a pilot when I was in
Okay.
third grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you take any lessons or do any of it?
I'm colorblind. I couldn't do
Oh,
it.
gotcha. Yep, there's always one thing. So
Yeah.
take me back to your childhood. Where were you born and raised, and how did these seeds of business and helping people and how did all that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of it happened organically. So I was born in Chicago, Illinois back in 1966. I'm an old man at this point. And, I was born to a single mother, very, very poor upbringing. But I always had a smart mouth. As a matter of fact, one of the things I've always was told was to just shut up. You know? And, but luckily, that's my forte. So I bounced around a lot. We wound up in Tallahassee, Florida, when I was 11, and we stayed here until I joined the army when I was 18. And I joined the army. I've always wanted to be a soldier, but I joined the army because it took me out of abject poverty, and there I was able to flourish. And the army put in policies and procedures that allowed you to succeed. And if you didn't succeed, they would exit you. But it allowed you to have successful moments. And as you know, it's kind of like hitting a really good golf shot. You have a really good successful moment, you can build upon it and have momentum, but it teaches you to win, and it teaches you to be a team player, and it teaches you to always strive for perfection. So that being said, I got out of the army back in '99, December '99, and went to grad school to get my MBA. And I always wanted them to. I had three or four criteria for what I wanted to do for a living. I wanted to always be able to talk to people. I always wanted to have continuous learning, and I always wanted to have stretch goals. And consulting, luckily, filled all of those criteria, because the fact of the matter is, everybody needs to have somebody to give advice to them every now and then, and I love to do that.
So who's been a hero or role model for you in your life?
There's several, and I think they migrate in and out depending upon where you are stages of your life. Frankly, this may sound weird, but I've always looked up to John Wayne. I always looked up to the titular characters, the strong male role model that went against the grain and stood up for what he believed in. It's because I didn't have any real good male role models growing up. I didn't have a father, or the stepfathers I had in my life were suboptimal, if you want to put it that way. But seeing those people on TV it gave me a really, really strong sense of right and wrong. Obviously, all that stuff was Hollywood, and the world is not black and white, but it gave me a really strong foundation of a moral character and fiber. So
Yeah.
John Wayne, people like that, Clint Eastwood, people who, the strong man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what he believed in and to put his money where his mouth is.
So if you could meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating, who would it be? Who would you love to meet and talk to?
Oh man, if I had to narrow it down to one person, because I have several,
Yeah.
uh, probably Elon Musk.
Okay.
There, yeah, I have again, dude. That's a broad question because depending upon what I'm uh I'm interested in at the time. So I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So I'd probably want to meet one of the most famous guys there, Hickson Gracie. But as far as business, as far as growth, I think Elon Musk will be somebody very, very interesting to talk to.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So you obviously have to give good advice to your clients. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
The best advice I've ever gotten, which I have a hard time adhering to, is to always stay calm and don't let your emotions rule your behavior. And what I mean by that is that ego will kill everything. Having a healthy ego is so important, but it can get out of control. And when it does get out of control, you really need to take a step back, even physically, just take a step back from a situation and recognize that. Don't let your ego control you and be calm in all situations because, frankly, it never helps to not be calm.
Right.
So,
Right. That's
yeah,
totally true.
yeah,
So what is the
yeah.
drive and motivation for you every day to not only help your clients, but to evolve as a human? What is that for you?
Dude, you're speaking my language. Frankly, I've got a lot more sand in the bottom of my hourglass than I do the top.
Yeah.
So I have to squeeze every moment of life out of the time I have left, and that's what motivates me. Is I would tell I have a 28-year-old son, and I tell everyone, including him, that always try to be a lifelong learner and always try to be the dumbest person in the room because that's where you're going to learn the most. If I'm in the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. So that's what motivates me is continuous learning. And frankly, I try to learn about everything. Like I said, I'm a jujitsu black belt. I was in the military for a long time, scuba diver, skydiver. But I also 2 years ago bought a beehive, and the only reason I did that so to learn about apiary and how the bees are structured, how they create their honey and the life cycle of, and I just did that because I wanted to learn about it and I wanted to
Yeah.
immerse myself in it. Unfortunately, they died from the cold, but I did learn a lot. So
Yeah, for sure. What's been one of your best
yeah,
client success stories?
you know, first of all, when you're in my industry and these customers spend a lot of money on services, they're all going to be successful. They're going to paint it that way. But what makes me grateful and gives me a sense of pride and gratitude is when a customer says, I couldn't have done it without you, or I don't want to go forward without you. So we have several, and in my industry, success is based on how much money they save and how much money they make, and that varies across the board. But having a customer tell me that they appreciated what I've given them is the most successful thing I can think of.
What was the feeling like, and when did it happen when you jumped out of your first airplane?
Uh, so when a paratrooper goes through jump school, that is one thing they never forget. I was 21. It was in February of 1998, no 1988, and I remember distinctly. There was probably 100 of us. We're all young, fresh, ready to go. It's my time to exit aircraft. I exited the aircraft, and first thing I thought of was, oh heck, my chute didn't open because you're supposed to do a 4 count, right? It did open eventually, but I just was premature. So I thought as soon as I jumped out, I was like, holy cow, my chute hasn't opened, and it was distinct. Of course, it did open. I landed. I'm here successfully. So
Yeah.
that was the first thing. But I was nervous. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. So of all of the things that you've done and evolved into and accomplished in your life, what are you the proudest of?
There's several, right? I've been married for 35 years, almost 36 years next month. I'm very proud of that because in today's day and age, it's hard to stay married for a long time. Secondarily, my son is a Hawkins 2.0, and I'm very, very proud of that. He has the same graduate degree I did. He's also does jiu-jitsu. He's also a scuba diver, and so I'm very, very proud of that. But I tell everybody, if I die tomorrow, and I definitely don't want to do that, I've lived a life of overachievement. I've outkicked my coverage, and I've done so many things in my life that I have very, very few regrets.
Yeah. So if you could get into a time machine, we get off this call, time machine pulls up in front of your house. You can see one event in human history, or you can go into the future and see what's up. What would you choose? Where would you go?
One event in human history, whew, that's a hard one.
A
I
lot of
mean,
stuff.
there's so many. Personally, I probably would like to see the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
That is a pivotal moment in our future, and I am a zealous patriot, and I bleed red, white, and blue. My doctor said it was cancer. I just told him to shut his commie mouth. But I'm a big patriot, and I love to have seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be amazing. So Loyd, everyone sees you in a different light. Family, friends, clients, everyone around you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Well, I have a friend who tells me all the time that I wish my wife loved me as much as you love yourself, Loyd. And and I tell him, why wouldn't you love yourself? You know, we all have that again perspective of all of our friends and family. Um, I try to be generous and giving as much as possible. So I have two sides to my personality. And I don't know if you ever seen the movie Lonesome Dove, the series Lonesome Dove, but it had Tommy Lee Jones in it, and it had um, uh, Augustus McCrae. His name's escaping me now. And the Augustus McCrae character is very jovial, very funny, easy to get along with. That's how I see myself. My
Yeah.
wife sees myself as the other guy, Woodrow Call, who's very strict, very stern, and very driven.
Yeah.
And I think I ride both of those fences every now and then. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
So let me ask you this. If anyone wants to reach out, hire you, learn more about you, anything about your world, where can they go?
Oh, well, they can go to my website, which is KenaiBusinessSolutions.com. That's Kenai, Kenai, businesssolutions.com. I have a small consulting firm on it where I do executive consulting. I do public speaking, uh, things of that nature. And they can also go to Amazon and buy my book.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Love
This
it.
is a book. Yeah, I've written this. It's 100% factual. It's an easy read. It's cheap. It's $20, but
Yeah.
it's a encapsulation of several stories of my life that really wrap around series of successes or how to overcome stuff. Because I tell everyone as well, the one thing that you can give your children, especially your male children, more than anything, the most important thing is resiliency and grit.
Yeah.
It's the ability to overcome. So my life story is based on all that.
Absolutely. Very well said. Loyd, this has been wonderful. I love your spirit. I love what you do. Thank you, sir, for taking some time out for the show.
Absolutely. Reach out to me anytime. Again, Loyd Hawkins at Kenai Business Solutions and straight out of the trailer park at Amazon.
Absolutely.
Buy it today.
I
All right.
love it. Loyd, thank you, sir. Take care.
Yes, sir. All
Have a
right.
good
Bye bye.
weekend. Bye-bye.